Oh boy, the time is here. How long has it been? When did I open the shop?
September of 23.
151 release day, in fact, is when I opened the shop. That release weekend. And that was the start of a journey that has taken 2 years, 4 months, and we're finally at the place where the market's collapsing.
It's all coming apart, baby.
Everything, as soon as we start a podcast, all we had to do, as soon as we start a podcast, the market collapses. Yeah. Hi, my name's Travis. I'm the owner of the shop. Been a long-time Pokemon enthusiast, hobbyist. Got back in the hobby around celebrations. And in fact, today we're talking about, Jack, celebrations, the 30th anniversary set?
Yep. It's the year of the 30th.
Yep.
It finally arrived, so.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Minty Road Podcast. I am Josh, also known as Kraus, very rarely known as Josh. We've got Travis with us and Jack. Also, got a couple things we want to talk through. We had our first league event here, so that was kind of cool this past weekend. We also want to talk about Pokemon Day, which is February 27th, where there'll be some announcements. Back to what Travis was talking about, market shifts. Maybe talk a little bit about Perfect Order. There's not much there. And then had some fun news on Monday, which was the Pokemon and Lego collab. And then we've got a new fun little segment for us. Everybody's favorite, everybody's play-at-home game. Would eat or would not eat, featuring your favorite Pokemon.
So I don't come up with what we talk about. That's all Jack, just so everybody knows at home. So just anything that you guys don't like about what we're talking about is Jack's fault. Everything's Jack's fault.
Correct. Everything is always Jack's fault.
But there is one thing, though, that Josh said that I want to talk about. And I sent a text out about a month ago, and I said, we need to start getting into Legos.
You did. I have the receipts. There's a text that Travis sent me, which said, hey, this looks like something that we could use with our current business plan. Let's get into Legos.
And sure as shit, 30 days later, there's a collab.
There it is.
$650. Even I saw this. $650 for that, Charizard, Venusaur, Blastoise Lego. And people are like, buy those things, put them on the shelf. Man, there's scalpers and Legos now.
Yeah.
The world's collapsing, calamities all around. We're going to open a Lego live stream. We build Legos. And we're going to monetize it, have you guys pay $5 a month to decide what comes next.
What do we build next? And then we'll have a raffle at the end of the month for whoever wins wins the
Once you
Lego.
turn the page on the Lego, you open a pack of Pokemon.
I love it. So we had our first Pokemon authorized tournament this past weekend. We had a challenge in store. Max prize out for that, depending on your age, is 15 points that go towards your qualification for Worlds. So we had 11 masters, and my favorite part, we had 6 juniors. So we had six younger Pokemon trainers in playing, and they were able to be, with that number 6, they were able to be segregated from the older players. They got to play amongst themselves. And then we had, it was best of 1, 30-minute rounds, and there were 3 rounds. So that was really fun. Got to crown a champion there. From a standpoint of what decks were involved, quickly, it was your normal stuff. There was a Goldengo, there was a Charizard. There were 2 guys that conspired to come in here and have a little bit of fun with lower stakes. They played a festival lead deck, which is interesting and infuriating at the same time, because most of the players that have a deck, they're like, oh, this should win. And if you don't know what to do against Festival Lead, you're dead.
So, but just pause for a second, because I want to help the listeners out there, people that potentially follow us, subscribe. for those that don't play the game, which there are many, like me, I don't play the game, although I can tout, and I'm going to claim this until the end of time. I was the first person to win a game here in the new shop.
Correct.
And I beat your very own Kalen.
Yes.
Okay, so
Facts.
that's the one and done I've played, and I don't know if I need to come out of retirement because I'm undefeated in the new shop. But my point here is that we've been having tournaments here at the shop, this shop and the old shop every Friday. We give out prizes, not prize packs, but players have been able to play and they've been able to win stuff. What's the difference for people that come in and play the actual game and they're playing competitively? Why go to a cup and why go to a challenge? And I don't play the game, so what's the difference between those two? And why is a cup and challenge so coveted?
Sure. So a cup is held quarterly at a Pokemon authorized play store or play location. So you can only have 4 a year. The champion of the cup in each age division will win a special mat. This quarter, I believe it's the Charizard mat, Mega Charizard mat, and you get 50 competition points. And so the way that it works, to be able to get your invite into Worlds for Pokemon TCG, you have to hit a certain threshold of points. You have to be top X in your region for your age division. And so competing in a cup provides you real opportunity without a ton of cash expenditure, like going to a regional and getting a hotel and traveling like most people do. You can show up at a store and it's the highest level of competition locally. And you play for real prizes and 50 competition points.
The points are for like people that are going to consistently play the game where they actually want to get enough points to make it to a regional.
There's get it to Worlds. So, and there's another reason Pokemon introduced last season that if you get above 200 points, you get a special stamped I don't know if it's stamped. You get a special card from Pokemon that says, hey, thanks for participating in our.
Could a player, just to help me better understand, could a player come to our, we get 4 cups, 4 challenges or 4 cups?
4 cups.
We get 4 cups a year, 1 challenge.
Every month.
Oh, 1 challenge a month. So could a person come to a challenge every single month, 12 times a year, come to a cup every quarter? So they come here 16 times. They play at 1 brick and mortar because that's the max that we as a brick and mortar can host.
Yep.
Is that enough to get them into a regional?
Worlds.
A Worlds?
No, it's not.
Okay, so what's the from a severity perspective or from a frequency perspective, how, in your best guesstimate, how many cups and challenges would one person have to go to make it to Worlds? Like I'm just thinking, what's the commitment from a person that's actually coming to play? Because like there's professionals, right? Professional golfers, professional baseball players. I'm just trying to paint the picture of the number of people that play the game, the number of people that are in the hobby relative to the percentage of those that actually put the work in and the time in, that you've got one person that's maxed out the allotment of 1 brick and mortar.
Mm-hmm.
And this is even, I don't want to spend too much time here, but I'm just thinking that if you're in middle of nowhere, Kentucky, not picking on Kentucky, and your closest brick and mortar card shop that actually has sanctioned play is 2 hours away, and you really want to go to Worlds, and if 1 brick and mortar store, 1 store on its own can't even get you, if you turn up to 100% attendance to all of their events, walk me through how many events would one person have to go to actually qualify?
Sure. So Pokemon limits the amount of points you can get from a challenge and from a cup. They max you at your 4 highest placings. And so if you went to 1 store, because showing up in competition is irrelevant. You actually have to perform. You have to win. So if you won all 4 cups at Minty Gym, that maxes you out on the points. That's 200 points that you would get allotted from cups. And then if you won the first 4 challenges of the year, you get 15 points for a win. That's 60. So 260 is the max points you can get from a locals level. And I think last year the cutoff was somewhere around 700 points for Masters. So it's a baseline.
You have to go sweep and go undefeated at 3.5 different brick and mortars. 100%.
No, it maxes you total. So if I go to Arkansas and I win a cup, and then I go to and I come to Minty Gym and win a cup, I can only get points for 2 more cups. It doesn't matter where I play.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to, hey, I want to go win all the cups in my area, what it does is it's the baseline for where you have to start.
So you can only get 200 points from winning cups max, but you need 700 to get in the Worlds?
It depends. So once again, it's based on the top X amount. And I think last year it was around 700-ish.
Where do you get the other points from then?
Regionals.
So then so what, can anybody go to a regionals?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, regionals is open. It's like for those that do golf, it's like the qualifying event.
Yep.
To go in and qualify.
And
So you go to regionals.
if you win a regionals, that's an automatic Worlds invite.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. And then there are points that you get for being in the, depending on how many there are, top 256 or top 150, whatever the
How
number
many
is.
players go to one regionals?
The
average?
last couple that have been large. The last one that was in North America, I believe, or in United States, was in Las Vegas. And I want to say they pushed 3,200, 3,000, somewhere in there.
So if you place in the top 250,
Yeah.
let's say it's roughly top 10%.
Yeah.
How many points? This is the first time I've ever asked this question.
Yeah,
How many
sure.
points? Because I'm just trying to think through, if you come in and you play and you win, you max out. We have one dominant player. He comes in here and he just dominates. He gets 200 points from us. He's maxed out. Can't get any more points from challenges. And then he goes to a regionals. By all definition, he places in the top 10%.
Yep.
What's the number?
Yeah. So top 10% is going to be 160 points.
Wow. So imagine a dominant player, Kansas City metro area, dominant player at his local brick and mortar, goes to a regional, places in the top 10%. Those two things combined only get you halfway to being able to qualify?
Yeah, so you have to consistently
How many
finish.
regionals are there a year?
8-ish, 8 to 9, and then you've got 3 international championships, which would be Latin America International Championship, Europe, and then North America.
You're basically, you're going, it's like golf. You basically, for the FedEx Cup standings in golf, you've actually got to turn out to every event. You got to score well.
Yep.
You got to go to every regional, place every regional decently high, max out your cup. And if you place in the top 10% on 4 of the regionals, plus you max out your cups, you're approximately there.
Yeah, so
Correct?
if there's more than 2,049 players and you can consistently be 64th and better, you're going to get 120 points per regional that you go to. So you do that 5 times, that's 600 points, plus your 260 that you get from your locals. You're at 760. You're generally, based on last year, you're shooing to get a Worlds.
How many people, what's the attendance rate of those at Worlds? Like, how many people show up to play in Worlds? Like,
So it's invite only, and we can look up the number afterwards. My gut tells me it was like 300 to 500 masters showed up at Worlds, because they limit how many from each region.
Yeah.
Because you have to qualify. There's a leaderboard that exists on Pokemon's website where they basically took the top 100, they drew a line, everybody got a Worlds invite, and then they start with all the regional winners get their Worlds invite. All the top 4 at an international championship get their invite. So they take those out of the top 100, and then they resort the list. They draw the line at 100, and they invite all of them to Worlds.
This is my hot take. So this is the first time, 100% honest and transparent. This is the first time that anybody's walked me through this scoring of being able to make it to Worlds. And as my brain is processing the work required for somebody to have to achieve success to actually get that Worlds invite, it seems like a decent limiting factor and a barrier to entry to get people into the hobby to actually play the game. Because if I don't play the game, but let's assume that I did and I wanted to, and yeah, you can have fun playing the game. You can kind of have the community, go into the brick and mortar, have fun. But if I wanted to actually achieve success, the level of time required and the percentage of those that actually make it, I would think, my guess is that you would have more people wanting to get into the hobby to play the game if the Pokemon prize and tournament was a little bit more open and expansive to get more people into it.
Fair. You also get a cash payment if you're top 32 of $1,000,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the other part is similar to NFL, where any given Sunday, right? That's the statement where any team can beat another team. Pokemon, specifically the game, has a significant amount of randomization and luck involved. And there are plenty of players that come in here on a Friday for league play or come in here for our challenges that have gone on some of those, for lack of a better term, generational runs at a regional to be able to make top 2 or second day, which then puts them in the top 300. And so some of that is the allure.
But you got to do that 4 times though.
Yeah, correct.
That seems
No.
crazy.
If you're in the top 20%, you get to top 8, you get 280 points.
So 3 times.
3 times.
You gotta
Or
get top
twice.
8
Or
3 times.
or twice. You only have to do it twice.
Yeah.
And the
Why
reality
don't they
is
just make worlds 5,000 people?
they used to. That used to be a thing. They changed it, including this season, 2 seasons ago. I wasn't in the room for that conversation. I don't know why they changed it.
Oh, I guess my bigger point, my brain started as I was kind of processing this and figuring it out for the first time. The point that I was trying to make is that when you think of people playing Pokemon competitively, because I'm just around the shop, I just see these guys, how much they talk about the deck. They live, eat, sleep, and breathe the strategy. And then Pokemon does a great job in that every release, the strategy changes. There's new cards that come out. It evolves. It's tough for me to keep up with because I'm still running the Scarlet and Violet base set Arcanine EX deck that's about to go out of rotation.
But you're undefeated.
And I'm but I like for a super light casual like me, I can't keep up with the changing meta. And that's why people just run meta decks.
And that's part of it. You asked about the differentiation between cups and challenges. There's also a third layer, which is our Friday night league play. If you just want to come and play and hang out with guys, a good example would be, classic 80s, 90s reference would be Cheers, right? Some people just go to the bar to hang out. Some people just come in here and they hang out on Friday night and they play the deck that either they've been playing and they get some good reps in, or they play a brand new deck like I was talking about with Festival Lead, which only, 1% or 10% of the people watching this will have an idea what that is, allows them to have a little bit of fun and be with some of the people that they enjoy being with. Don't get me wrong, hobbies have their fair share of people that don't like each other, but generally in Pokemon, like my other hobby, which is basketball, when I show up to play, there's people that I enjoy seeing that I only see when I play basketball. So there is a function of it still being a hobby. And for the people that do min-max and try to maximize their effort to maximize their outcome, it is difficult.
Yeah.
It is difficult.
Jack's looking at his watch, so that means that we got to move on to our next segment, which is
Pokemon Day. So February 27th will be the day that the Pokemon Company will introduce or release or communicate part of their upcoming roadmap for what we're planning to see in 2026. So I guess the first question would be, Trav, what do you expect the next big announcement from Pokemon to be?
So this is gonna sound a little bit. I've been living on the rock the last month and a half since Arc Raiders has came out. I'm just gonna let you guys know I've been playing that like crazy. So we're more than just Pokemon here, okay? We're grown men. We like Pokemon. We like to open cardboard, but we also like to play video games. The wives don't like it, and so it's been Christmas time. So I don't really know the cards that are coming out. I haven't really looked into so perfect order. And I don't really know exactly what has already been announced. So anything that if I say, hey, I expect this, and it's like, Travis, they already did that. It's because I've been playing Arc Raiders with all my free time. That's just the truth. But has the 30th anniversary set been revealed in terms of?
No, they haven't. They haven't talked about it. They gave us a logo.
That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the introduction of the 30th anniversary set and 30 years through the Pokemon hobby. And in the same way that in Chinese, they've been going starter deck 1, 2, and 3, and they had the original starters. My expectation is that they're really going to dive into this Pokemon's #1 media franchise in the world, huge growth. You can't find the product right now. Do we know, is the real live action movie, is that a thing, or has that just been AI parody this entire time?
I think it's been AI.
Because I've been operating like that's a thing, and so they're going to have this awesome movie come up in the next 12 to 18 months. It's going to be outstanding. And
there hasn't been anything that's been released.
Okay.
Officially that says anything.
Get on that. Yeah, we need that. We need a real live Pokemon. But yeah, I think it just to be big on the 30th year. And I'll tell you what, my best pickup right now 2 years ago at Collecticon was the 20th anniversary Generations Elite Trainer box. I traded $500 of cards to a gentleman who had one. And I think that ETB is worth like, get the spot check this. I think it's like $3,000.
Yeah.
You have to pull it up on screen if I'm true.
20th.
20th Generations ETB.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's great. And then in the last probably 3 months, Celebrations has been going bonkers.
Yep.
And surprisingly, it's been all of like the non-desirable chase cards out of the set,
Yep.
that have kind of exploded in value. And so I'm curious to see how Pokemon does the 30th anniversary and what that is. They've already done 151, and so I can't imagine it's just gonna be nothing but starters again.
Yeah.
Maybe like
And they did so in the last era, they did Gen 5 and Gen 1, right? So you got
yeah,
151 and then Black Bull White Flare
yeah.
was Gen 5, right? So
I just maybe like, remember how they had the legendary collection set at the end of the Wizards of the Coast era
yeah.
where the reverses that everybody chases? If it's just a set that has, like, everybody's like there's over 1,000 Pokemon in the Pokédex. Surely there's 200 the top 200 Pokemon, the top 200 characters
Yep.
for Alligator. You haven't seen like a SIR for Alligator in forever. Like just ones that don't get a lot of love, or that's not very frequent. Maybe it's just a throwback to like everybody's favorite Pokemon or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, my gut leans into, since they've done it a couple times, is they'll re-release the starter stage 2, right? Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur. They'll have those in there. I have a hope that they do the Legendary Collection reverse foil on a couple cards, because I think those are awesome. And I think, Jack, tell me I'm wrong here, but they didn't go over well when they were originally released, but now they're highly desirable. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty spot on. It's kind of like e-readers.
Yeah. So e-readers is the next. There's some really cool art from like the Crystal Lugia and some other cards that are very expensive in today's market, that if they put the stamp on them and they re-released them. One thing that Pokemon has done though with their 25th and 20th sets is they've taken cards that the community is aware of and they've reprinted them, like they did the Umbreon Gold Star, like they did the Tapu Lele GX. So I'm imagining that there are some cards that'll make their way in there. It would be cool to see a Lovebirds stamped Celebrations type card. As an example, I don't know if they're going to do any of that. My crazy idea would be to get the original artist to do full art representation of the starters. I think that would be something pretty cool. Full arts didn't exist back in Wizards of the Coast era. And so being able to have that same art, but having it fill out the whole card would be pretty fantastic. I don't think they released Gen 10. I don't think they talk about the video game. I don't think they talk about any of that, because I don't think it's anywhere close to being fully baked.
You don't think they're going to touch Gen 10 at all?
I don't think so.
Really?
I think they're more than a year away.
Do you think we ever get a kind of off pocket, off script, but quote on pocket, the TCG Pocket set?
So
Like an actual English print version of that, and they'll kind of roll that out for the 30th.
Yeah,
Kind of like bring in the electronic side or the digital
That's
age.
a great question, and we have an awesome video that you guys should check out where me and Kraus talked about this for like 10 minutes.
yeah. I don't think that they recognized how big Pocket was going to be. I think they signed a $1.2 million square foot lease to be able to provide additional printing capacity for TCG Pocket in and of itself. It won't be up and running until 2028, so that gives them lead time. I'm afraid that if they put Pocket cards in for Celebrations, there's too many good Pocket cards. There's too many of them.
That needs its own set.
It needs its own repetitive set, because once again, if you just did 35 SIRs and illustration rares out of Pocket, there's more quality cards out of there. So if you're trying to maximize your money, trying to maximize your operations, I think Pocket's bigger than a one-off release set like Pokemon Go.
It has to be, because they're still releasing more new sets in Pocket like every other week.
Yeah.
So they're going to keep making more Pocket cards, which means Pocket is especially so would have to continue
Man, could
on.
Pokemon miss? What's that meme? Put that meme up.
Yeah.
They don't miss.
It's Snoop. They don't miss.
They don't miss. It's because of all the people our age and new kids. It's like the snowball effect of people getting into the hobby. You've got the people our age that have grown up money now, that's kind of looking for a place to kind of put money out, something tangible, something physical that's outside of just always being online, always being on your phone. And then the new kids get into it. And then the biggest surprise for me, actually owning the shop and having people walk in, is the amount of like moms that actually use it as a bonding experience with their kids. Like, hey, I don't know, as a mom, I need a crutch, as I'm not going to play video games with you, right? So we need to do something together, and we need to protect against always being on the phone, because the easiest babysitter, of course, is, hey, get in front of the screen, watch a movie, get on the phone, play a video game. And so outside of that, what can we do together? And so I've seen a lot of parents come in and use Pokemon as a kind of a bonding thing with their kids. And of course, those kids grow up and they have fond memories of kind of having good experiences with their parents, and they get money. And it's just this giant snowball that has made it to where here we are talking about they need to print this TCG Pocket new
Yeah.
set on top of a release cycle that's every 3 months, 2.5 months, we're getting a set.
Yep.
And so,
There are a ton of people
and
that,
you still can't find the product.
there are a ton of people that from Pokemon Go, they're like, hey, this is my favorite Pokemon. Do you have any of these? You know, and they show us their screen.
And Pokemon, it hits the competitive scene, it hits the investing scene, it hits the collecting scene, it hits
Yep.
the community scene. It's just, it's crazy.
Speaking of, so one of the things we talked about last week was the difference between a collector, an investor, a collector slash side hobby guy, the investor, speculator, and then players, right? Players make up, my gut says less than 1%. I think I'm close there. Maybe it's 1 point something percent. I think the rest is split between speculators slash investors and then collectors. That being said, I think that's a good segue into market shifts. Trev, help us understand, right? Is the market crashing? How do you feel the health and state of Pokemon, the card is? And then being the data guy, what is the hard and fast data? Because we can sit here and have opinions, but none of it matters if
Yeah.
there's no data to back it up.
Yeah. So, I've clearly, you guys don't know me that well. I am definitely a data person through and through. Everything that I do operates with a foundational level of data to back up my belief system. And so everything is kind of analytics. And we have a pretty robust, we are a small brick and mortar card shop here in Shawnee, Kansas City area. But fortunately, with AI and previous backgrounds on software engineering, we can be pretty dangerous on being able to develop insights and tools that help us understand what's going on in the hobby. One of the things we do here, we have a trade wall. We call it the wall here in the shop. It's every single SIR,
Mhm.
illustration rare,
Mhm.
alternate art, and tag team from Sun and Moon era. So for the last, 7 years
Yep.
now, Sun and Moon came out in
19.
2019. Yeah, last 7 years. So it's we're pushing over 1,000 cards. It's actually 1,115 cards we have on our wall, with the goal that every single card we have at least one copy in stock. Now, it's tough for us to maintain always one in stock, but for us to operate a brick and mortar, when you walk through these doors, we have over 1,000 cards available for purchase. We have to be able to track the data pretty well so that we know what to price it as. And 2 years ago, the thought of looking up prices on 1,000 cards manually, I mean,
Yeah.
it would take what? It would take 40 hours a week just to even look up prices manually.
And 2 years ago, you could do it once a month. You'd be fine.
Yeah,
You do it now. By the time you finished at the end of the week,
yeah.
your beginning of the week data is out of date.
So there's a lot of volatility in the market. Because there's a lot of volatility, the tools that we have to track pricing needs to be kind of cutting edge, state of the art. And thankfully, with AI and a lot of other platforms and investors, these tools are becoming more open source, readily available for other collectors to use. We have layers to ours that are a little bit more sophisticated. But one of the takeaways that I can discern out of that is that very quickly, just by not looking at any particular card and just looking at the data holistically, you guys prepared for this? Only 2 cards of the last 347 SIRs, gold cards, illustration rares. So that this takes us back to Shrouded Fable.
Yeah.
There's only 2 cards right now since Shrouded Fable came out that the lowest listed price for the card. So one of the things that is really important for people to understand, people walk through our doors and we kind of use TCG Player as the proxy. So TCG Player right now is the source of truth for what the appraised value of a raw card should be. Collector is another one. eBay recent comps are another one. But by far and away, TCG Player is that kind of the normie. You know, you walk in and that's what you're using. And TCG Player is always a lagging indicator of what's happening in the market. And so so I'm gonna give you an example right now. The gold Mega Charizard card from Phantasmal Flames, its market price right now is
326.93.
thank you, 326.93. And what's the lowest list in your mint?
Including shipping, which was $2, is 333. So it's a $7 difference.
Yeah,
Which-
so it says 2.5%.
Yep.
So just be real careful. I mean, or not careful. I want you to have this insight. A week from now, when there's more sales velocity on that card, the market price for that card will be higher tomorrow than what it is today.
Yep.
So I know for that card, the market is going up because there is more demand for that card than listings. And so, but the unfortunate place in the hobby where we're at right now, there's only 2 cards that actually are higher lowest listing the market price. Everything else, the lowest listing is lower than market price, which means a week from now, 2 weeks from now, a month from now, if that trend continues, the predictive market price of those cards will be lower.
Let me jump in real quick.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that we're abundantly clear here. TCG market price is derived from transactions that occur, and they average the price of the transactions, right? So whether it's I can't reverse engineer it well enough to know whether it's kicked off by a certain amount of transactions, whether there's outliers that are removed, whether it's a 7-day moving average, but it's one of those. It's not too crazy. So to Travis's point, if the market price for the card is 300 and whatever, and the cheapest one you can buy right now is $305, when that one sells, that'll obviously move the average up. So the market price will go up. So if we were to go back to September or August, Trav, don't you think that the data would communicate almost a counter story to what you're saying, where almost all the cards listed on TCG Player that would be on our trade wall had a market price listed higher, had a available price listed higher than the average market price?
Yeah, I mean, it was about the time Surging Sparks came out, and people relatively, people that are in tune with the hobby, they know that Surging Sparks is kind of what broke the dam that allowed booster box pricing to start trickling up above MSRP. And that was the front runner of that was the Pikachu SIR that really started getting up to 350, 400. And very rarely do you have a chase card that 2 or 3 weeks after release, the market price is higher than what it is on release.
Yeah.
So you know, the Mega Charizard card on release, for example, I remember a week before release, that thing was selling for like $1,600.
Yeah.
And then 1,100, and then 900, and then the Friday after release, it was down to like $500. The Pikachu SIR did not do that. Okay, the Pikachu SIR came out, and then it went up in pricing. And that kind of creates, and this is just my experience of kind of just being in the hobby and kind of being the data person that's into collecting. It creates the FOMO, and it creates the scarcity and the hype. It create that, you know, the hype is what creates the scarcity, because the hype creates demand and demand creates scarcity. And so the price started going up. Right now, what's happening is that far and away, the lowest listing price across all the cards in the hobby more recently are lower than the actual market price. So everybody's collection value goes down tomorrow. So if you, let's say that you have 20 or 30 SIRs and that price is trending downward, what you own in your portfolio becomes less and less and less as time catches up to what actually true market is. And that's the unfortunate reality with owning a card shop, because we got customers that come in and they say, hey, I have this card, it's $300 market price. And we have to tell them, no, it's not, because I can go buy it on TCG Player right now for $280. So the market price is actually $280. And so you can't just look at what the actual market price number is. Any guesses outside of the Mega Charizard Gold? Any guesses? This is a random. Any guesses what the other card is that's and I'm guessing it's a playable card. I don't know for sure, but it kind of seems like a obscure one in terms of market price is actually lower than recent sales. So meaning the market price is going to go up in a week or two.
Yeah, my thought would be, from a playable standpoint, it would be something that would go, Gardevoir or something like that. In that deck, maybe a Jellicent EX SIR. Yeah, no, I have no clue.
Stay tuned. We'll let you know.
Nice. Fantastic. I think the market is still recovering. It's still correcting with the data that Travis shared, right? Where 1/3 of the most recent cards are are being listed for less than market currently would communicate that the market is not stabilizing. It's still in a downward trend. And so I don't think the correction's over yet. I think we'll continue to see it. We're also in a pretty long lag between new product and new sets. And the last one, I think November 14th was when Phantasmal Flames came out. It was a small set. And we're getting ready for another set to come out January 30th, but it'll only be 3-packs and 2-packs. We ranted on that last week. Since we met, there was a new set that was released with the products. It's Perfect Order. It should come out March 27th, which once again, there's a March 20th release for some Ascended Heroes product that we'll see. I think March might be poster collection for Ascended Heroes. So we'll see how that works on the release schedule. But in this set, another small set, there's only a couple Mega Pokemon, Mega Zygarde EX, Mega Clefable, Mega Starmie, and Mega Skarmory. So I'm not that in tune with Pokemon, but Trav, those 4 don't grab you, do they? You're not like super excited about seeing a Mega Clefable or a Mega Starmie?
Yeah, no, I'm not. When I say that, hey, I made a statement a little bit ago that, hey, Pokemon can't miss. Sometimes they come out with sets that they have certain characters in the set, and they're just like somebody who's an investor, also a collector that, you know, there's been one Rayquaza, for example,
Yeah.
and it came out in Evolving Skies, and that was 3.5 years ago.
Yep.
And everybody loves Rayquaza, right? A lot of people love, I'm thankful that we're getting another Gengar card coming out.
Yep.
But my point is that you've got enough all-star chase cards that for some reason you lean on printing Charizard 30 times.
Yeah.
And you're okay with the frequency of Charizard art cards, but you've got really good other characters like Lugia, like Rayquaza, like we could go on for
Yep.
Alligator, right?
Sure.
Cyndaquil,
Kyogre.
Arcanine has never had an SIR or an alt art,
Yep.
and
Gyarados.
yeah, Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, just some of the original ones that. If you're only going to put in a handful of SIRs, collectible cards, wouldn't you pick the characters that are statistically more popular,
Yeah.
have a lot more fan following to them, so that those are the chases that people want to collect? Because I don't really care about, name those 4 again.
Mega Clefable, Mega Starmie, Mega Zygarde.
It does seem like a miss, right? Like, I can't be the only one where I see what the brains of Pokemon, I'm going to call them the fat cat bankers that sit around the table and they say, you know what? This is going to be our chase card that we're going to come out with. And we think that we're going to hit the target by printing this.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, I get the argument that you can't overprint all the chase cards, the popular characters. Like,
Sure.
if you had 10 Lugias,
Yeah.
you make the hobby less desirable for those Lugia collectors. But what time frame are we talking here? I mean, one Rayquaza in 3.5 years does not seem excessive, right?
They had the trainer gallery.
Yeah.
In Silver Tempest. Almost same.
Yeah.
Same. You're not wrong.
But that card was a much heavier printed card
Correct.
than the SIR, and look at the market price of that card.
Right. It's a 7X or 8 or 70X.
People want that character.
Yeah.
And so, and it's not like that the sample size or a number of popular characters in the pot is small. We've got over 1,000 Pokemon characters to choose from.
It's because Pokemon they have to have some level of engagement to hype up their latest release from a different
Fair
variable, right? Like,
from ZA.
ZA.
But why? Like the person that's making that decision.
Because when you're a company, right, you want to diversify your audience and make sure that you're reaching out. Because how many kids play ZA?
Yeah. There's
There's gonna be some kids pretty in for a Mega Zygarde card.
My gut says from a base level, you want to be able to cross market, right? And so as soon as they release Perfect Order, it will probably be 2 or 3 weeks post in their projections, the majority of the player base having a Mega Zygarde. And so they have a Mega Zygarde in game. They probably want to have a physical one. So then you make that happen, right? I can recognize that, but that seems counter to, once again, the amount of people that play the video game versus the amount of 36-year-olds who grew up with Gen 2 or Gen 3 and are like, why don't we have, where's Kyogre? Where's the Regirock? Where's Registeel, right? Or what? Give me a Deoxys, right? Or whatever the case may be, right?
I think there's something too for those that are listening that aren't maybe as in tune with the hobby. I think kind of a explainer is probably in order. We're on the 10th generation coming up.
Yeah, correct.
A generation comes out every 3 years. So 30 years into the hobby, on average, you got a new generation every 3 years.
Yep.
With the new generations, about 100 Pokemon
Yep, fair.
on average. So 100 new Pokemon get released. And when a new generation gets released, there's 3 starters. The trend has been you basically recreate the magic of the original.
Yep.
So there's 3 brand new starters. You come out with a Game Boy game. You come out and then you, to Jack's point, you build synergies with the visibility of the characters in the print collectible hobby with what's happening in the other media pillars and verticals of the hobby itself. But rinse and repeat over and over and over, you create fatigue and you create too much to collect. This is my argument. We've got over 1,000 Pokemon right now to collect, and the frequency. So let's say that Pokemon knocks it out of the park with the 10th generation. They come out with 3 new starters. These starters hypothetically become the most popular starters. They have the best characters, the best artworks. And for whatever reason, these 3 new starters 5 years from now are everybody's favorite. Well, what about that guy that you captured 5 years ago who his favorite is the Rayquaza?
Yeah.
And you've gone 3.5 years without printing the Rayquaza.
Right.
So I'm disappointed. My point is that I'm disappointed that the cards that you choose to print on the chase cards aren't paying homage to the characters that got you here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you can't focus on them, but when you come out with a brand new set and that set only has these 4 cards, just from an investing standpoint alone, if you put a Lugia and a Rayquaza in that set, and I keep coming back to that as an example. If you put those 2 characters in that set becomes a 30-40% more desirable set to not just collect, but to invest on, to be a collector of, only because it had these characters in it. So it seems to me like you can't really criticize Pokemon because it's like they're doing everything right. We already said, hey, you can't miss.
Yeah.
But it does seem to me like it's something that should be incorporated more so.
Yeah.
And it would at least eliminate some of the disappointment, I think.
There's enough cards printed in sets that it feels like, once again, not being in the boardroom or not being in the creative room, that you should be able to take a set and have enough cards in there that can accomplish the task of, hey, we need to have a Mega Zygarde because of Legends Z8. Great. So we should be able to do that. And it shouldn't be too crazy to throw in a Genesect or throw in a Rayquaza or throw in a whatever, Kyogre, Lugia, pick, right? One of the points that I've made with Jack a couple times is there's no Gyarados alt art or illustration rare or special illustration rare. What are we doing? Right? Like he's one of the OG homies, right? He got pack art on Scarlet Violet base. Then when they reintroduced Destined Rivals and Journey Together, they gave him a card with Misty as his trainer, but there's nothing. And one of them, I mean, I know there's a lot, but one of the most recognizable Pokemon and cards, right, is Shining Magikarp, Shining Gyarados, etc. So once again, it feels like they should be able to do it. It leaves us wanting for more, I think, is the best answer.
I feel like, though, that's something they're gearing up for the anniversary set, right?
Okay.
Because let's think about it. We literally talked about this last week.
Yeah.
Pokemon doesn't cater to just collectors, investors, A, B, C, and D, right?
Doesn't mean I don't want them to.
I know, but like they're not going to. They're going to cater to everybody.
Yeah.
So all of the stuff that you're talking about, like the nostalgic hype, Gen 1, whatever everybody wants, the Gyarados, whatever, that's like an anniversary thing versus, hey, we've got to cover our bases here.
Fair.
And Pokemon, let's be fair, guys. Pokemon's the biggest IP in the world.
Yep.
I think they know what they're doing after 30 years to draw interest. Maybe
that's such the biggest fallacy in business, though.
Maybe reset the market a bit.
Because you have success, don't question the decisions that somebody's making.
Yeah. That's not what I meant by that. I mean, if you want to crucify me,
no,
I'm not crucifying you.
We could spend at minimum an hour talking about the best in the biggest size and all the mistakes that they made.
Right. Yeah. But again, they learn from mistakes, we hope, sometimes. But
what would be cool, though, if Pokemon would do this, is that if they created kind of a think tank, you know how like they do pre-screenings for mega Hollywood shows to say, hey, what's the sentiment for people?
Yeah.
You get 30 card shop owners, 30 regional world players, people that are in the hobby, and you say, how do you guys, like a focus group, how do you guys feel?
They do
I'm
that
sure
in
they
the game.
do that.
They do that in the game. For the game, they have community members that can provide feedback back to the company. But from a collector's standpoint, or from the cards themselves, I'm not aware of such a thing existing. But it would make sense that the community would have the ability to provide feedback back to Pokemon. Now, whether they listen to it or not is up to them. But
what I said, and this is when Pokemon 151 came out, and Pokemon ended up doing this for Black and White when they created an illustration rare for every single card.
Yeah.
I wish they did that for 151. Because for 151, it would have been awesome to have that illustration rare for every single OG Pokemon.
Yep.
It would have been a much bigger, tougher set to kind of master, but I felt like that the original starters had the staying power that they deserved. And then, you know, the Kabuto King, he would at least have his own illustration rare that we can collect to. It'd be a $4,000 PSA 10 illustration rare at this point.
Yep. Okay, let's finish strong here. One of the things that we woke up to on Monday morning was Pokemon Center Q was live at like 7:50, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. And then the announcement came out with the Pokemon Lego collab. They released a couple different products, $650 for 3 starters, $200 for a Pikachu, $60 for an Eevee. There is a badge case that is very reminiscent of what you used to get when you played Pokemon League back 25 years ago. That is free with purchase. Just how does that grab you, Trav, Jack? How do you feel about a $650 price point for all 3 starters?
$650.
So this is Lego.
You know what's funny?
This is not Pokemon. This is a Lego product with the Pokemon badge on it. So
but you know
all my
hilarious?
Star Wars nerds out there are like, well, what about the Millennium Falcon? And what about the Death Star, right? The Death Star that is 1 billion pieces, that's $1 million.
I'm going to go on record here. Mega Bloks did a Pikachu already.
Yeah.
And it looks like 10 times better than what Lego put out.
Okay, you don't like the chubby cheeks?
I'll throw them up on the screen.
Take a look at this.
I'm grabbing something right now.
So you mean to tell me that for what was the price point again? For this
$200.
For $200, you don't want this Pikachu?
I think I'm just saying I think the Mega Bloks.
I'm gonna put that guy right there. And that is
$195.
The power of cross-brand marketing. Okay. And so when I put my go back to college, go into an intro level marketing / advertising course, and you talk about user acquisition and funnel analytics.
Yeah.
And you're trying to say, hey, we need to get more people to spend money.
Yep.
The event that they want is they want consumer dollars, consumer wallet share. So you to spend more money. Well, how do you do that? Well, you increase the funnel at the very top of people that would have impressions on engaging with your IP. And so there's crossover between Lego and Pokemon. Consumers that spend money on Pokemon also might spend money on Lego. And to do a synergy, whether who engaged it, was it Lego that reached out to Pokemon? Did Lego pay Pokemon for their rights, or did Pokemon go to Lego? I don't know. Maybe somebody knows, but it's not uncommon to have co-branded crossover where it's mutually beneficial for both. There could be Lego collectors that don't collect the game that actually want to collect now because they saw the cross promotion. And so, but yeah, we're coming up to the close here. We've kind of ran over time. We got customers at our front door that want to get in.
Yep.
We were supposed to talk about Perfect Order. You'll have to stay tuned to next episode.
Yeah.
For Perfect Order.
We're supposed to talk about whether I would eat the Pokemon or not. So we will. That's a teaser. You'll have to figure that out later. We'll do something about that this week and figure it out from there.
So we don't know. So a couple things that I'm looking for. What could be different about the show? I'd say we're kind of in the pilot episodes right now, trying to figure out where do we film at, the format of the show, the camera angles, the lighting, right? There's a lot of production that goes into just like, is the show entertaining? The topics, the graphic overlays. So there's going to be a lot of things that evolve the next times that we do this. Yep. But other pieces of content that you want us to cover, things that you liked about the show, things you didn't like about the show. Yeah, any feedback would be good feedback for us right now. And hopefully it's every week, every Tuesday. We film. I don't know what the release day is.
Typically, we're dropping episodes on Fridays.
Friday episode. Okay.
The other piece there is what was the card that is listed currently. higher than the market price, right? We gave you one.
Yeah, gave you one.
What's the other one? Awesome. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Kraus out.